2020 is the code for healthy vision. It is also the year we were given the eyes to see.
The great Oz has spoken.
Today, the curtain has been pulled back to reveal the liars at the levers.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
They are masters of deception, hell-bent to divide and conquer.
Some radicals on the far right. It's not just the far left wackos.
Like magicians, they use the art of redirection to keep us distracted as they trick us. Nearly every war we have fought was initiated by their propaganda.
Iraq's weapons of mass destruction are controlled by a murderous tyrant.
As their empire of lies is collapsing, they are becoming increasingly desperate and dangerous.
Russia, China and Iran have announced the three nations are seeking to strengthen ties.
The alliance that's been formed should chill us all to the bone.
Their reckless war games have united a deadly alliance. Everything we have fought for, everything we've earned, and everything we love is under attack.
Terror suspects at the southern border since the beginning.
At what point do we say, enough is enough? Now is the time for the American people to wake up and rise up. A rebel alliance is forming in the name of liberty and life. People of every color, culture, creed, and ideology are putting politics aside to secure the 8 pillars of peace and freedom. End the weaponization of science and medicine.
If there is risk, there must be choice.
Cease the expansion of surveillance and propaganda.
They are killing us with censorship and propaganda.
Stop central bank digital currencies.
That will allow them to punish us from a distance and cut off our food supply.
Prevent political abuse of our judicial system.
What we are demanding is, in fact, the restoration of the rule of law.
Secure our national borders.
I'm tired of the United States doing nothing to protect the American people.
Protect our children.
To defend our children and to save an entire generation.
Restore critical thinking in education.
I think that the time for change is now, and enough is enough.
And above all, break our addiction to war.
The nuclear threat is an emergency of the highest order, and we are all in the crosshairs of this emergency.
We must set aside our differences, work together to fire those warmongering politicians from both political parties.
Everybody from the left, everybody from the right, everybody from the middle coming together to realize that we have more in common than divides us.
What unites us is so much stronger than anything that divides us.
We're a country of love. We are a country that care about people.
The one thing that brings us together here today is that we value life.
Every single principle on which the West is based is under simultaneous threat. We must defend the West.
All right. Hey. All right, that's great. That's okay. I don't need no stinking bulletproof glass because I'm a midget. All right. It's great to see such a wonderful sea of people out here. A great mix of people. Medical freedom fighters. Champions of free speech. MAGA people, make America healthy again people. It's great to see Joe Biden walking by in his pajamas. And of course also mingling amongst us in the crowd today, FBI agents dressed up as white supremacist, neo-Nazi, Trump-voting anti-vaxxers. Always great to have you here, gentlemen. Wearing the same khaki pants. The anniversary of January 6th is fast approaching. January 6th is, as Kamala Harris and the Democrats called it, the worst attack on our democracy since 9/11 or Pearl Harbor or, as any rational observer might refer to it, January 6th, the FBI guided tour and costume party at the Capitol building. Now, the woke Democrats want to attack us, confuse us, call us systematically racist because of the color of our skin, flood our cities with migrants to drain our resources, and try to bully us into repeating robotically repeated phrases like trans women or women. You can call yourself a trans woman all you want. It doesn't matter, because when you turn 50, someone is still going to have to check your prostate. 50-year-old trans woman, you're still going to get the finger. Children cannot consent to puberty blockers. Do you remember how awful those gay conversion therapy sessions were? Bad, right? Trying to talk someone out of being gay. Well, do you know what's way worse? Cutting off the breasts of young girls and mutilating young boys and poisoning them with castration puberty blockers. This is being embraced by the LGBTQ plus community. Now, in our society, 14-year-old girls aren't allowed to drive, vote, get a tattoo, buy a gun, see an R-rated movie, or join the army because they aren't mature enough to make decisions like those. Yet in democratic states, they can choose to make decisions that can make them permanently infertile. In America, you can't even rent a car until you're 25 years old. What does Avis, Hertz, Alamo, and Enterprise know that the Democrats and the medical establishment seem so ignorant about? Now, whether Republican or Democrat wins this November, it'll mean nothing if we don't get Americans healthy again. But I must admit, if you're going to be fat in America. Because in America, no matter how fat you are, you can always feel good about yourself. Because in America, if you're fat, all you have to do is wait 4 minutes, 5 tops, before you see somebody that's way fatter than you are. It's like, man, I feel terrible, but look at that piece of crap. How is that even standing? We are here today because we love our country and we see it sliding into perilous waters where the hurricane of tyranny threatens to drown our cherished liberties, where in a country that, in its current system of elections, only allows 2 political parties, and one of those parties, the Democratic Party, has disguised itself as the party of the people, as the party of decency and truth, of protecting democracy, of peace, of being the savior of women's rights, of being the party of the worker. Nothing could be further from the truth. Democrats are no longer the party of the people. They no longer represent the working class. They represent the moneyed class, the new aristocracy, the expert class with the 3 letters next to their names, PhD. They collude with tech companies and use censorship to silence those that dare disagree with the authoritarian policies. They use lawfare to attack and imprison their political enemies. They close small businesses, churches, while they leave open big businesses, liquor stores, and strip clubs, which I'm grateful for. They fire soldiers, frontline doctors, and nurses for refusing to take a universal gene therapy. And they no longer use the term my body, my choice, do they? Because it isn't. They consider it your body is their choice. They allow 10 to 20 million people to illegally cross over our border, bus and fly them to places where nobody in those communities voted for them to come. Instead of protecting women, they allow narcissistic men to invade their safe spaces like bathrooms, locker rooms, prisons, They deplete our nation's treasure by continuing to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on forever wars that push the world closer to World War III. It's the closest to World War III since John F. Kennedy was president. The average American now has to choose between buying groceries or buying gas. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz do not believe that free speech is our most basic right guaranteed under our First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, our Bill of Rights. They mistakenly call free speech a privilege. They are in error. To quote my friend, thank you, to quote my friend Andrew Doyle, free speech is the marrow of democracy. Without it, no other liberties exist. It is detested by tyrants because it empowers their captive subjects. It is mistrusted by Puritans because it is the wellspring of subversion. Unless we are able to speak our minds, we cannot innovate or even begin to make sense of the world. It is important that we reach out to people beyond our political affiliation to save our country. It is not about party. It is about nation. And I will leave you with this story. For people who want to divide us into Democrat and Republican, it's one snake with two heads. Now, all you need to know about America and the character of America is when you see disasters like just happened this week in Florida. During the floods, when people are standing on top of their roofs to be rescued, and the people in boats are coming by to rescue those people standing on the roofs. Here's what the people in the boats are not saying. Are you a Democrat or Republican up there? A Republican? Oh, a Democrat. Well, this is a Republican boat. Yeah, the Democrat boat should be coming pretty quickly. Good luck with that. It's a kayak. It's better for the environment. All right, thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep this going now. I'm honored to be with you. Now, let us welcome to the stage a first responder, Steve Slepcevic. He is CEO of SRP 24 and Sabre Security. 35 years of responding to some of America's greatest disasters. As a matter of fact, he just got back this morning from Florida, where his first responders and security teams are working tirelessly to help those in need and keeping us here safe today. Please welcome Steve Slepcevic.
Oh, it is so good to see all you beautiful, fearless, loving patriots standing in the rain. While millions are watching online, we're making history here today. Yeah, you know, it's interesting, right? D.C. Great show to keep people from coming here. This is our capital. This is our land. My name is Steve Slepcevic, and it's a great honor for me to stand here beside you today. Each of you is not just a spectator. You're a defender that has taken a committed stand for something much greater than ourselves. Today we gather to ignite a fire of unity in rescuing our republic, to secure a brighter future for our children, to restore our land, our food, and our values that made this country a beacon of light and freedom in a very dark world. Before we begin, I want to draw your attention to the distant perimeter. Out there, you will hear a powerful sound of pipes and drums that are going to be cutting through the air as they move their way towards the stage. I'll tell you a little bit about what this represents. These are the firefighters from every corner of our great republic. Some have come from the streets of Los Angeles, other from the city that never sleeps, New York. From Kentucky to North Carolina, from Florida to Maryland, and yes, some from right here in our nation's capital. They've traveled here at their own expense, but more importantly, they're here to remind us of something we seem to have forgotten: the power of standing together in unity for freedom. Among these ranks, firefighters, doctors, parents, advocates, and many Americans who've lost almost everything: careers, medical licenses, life savings, friends, and family, because they refused to submit to mandates that violated their principles and their bodily autonomy. Some even carrying the flag that were pressured into taking a failed government experiment that has left them severely injured, forced into medical retirement. They are you. These courageous men and women stood on the front lines during the pandemic, risking their lives to save others, and yet were cast aside when they defended their freedoms. Folks, silence is compliance. They were not silent, and they never will be. They continue to fight, standing before you as living testaments to the resilience and an unbreakable spirit. To those among us who serve as firefighters, paramedics, doctors, nurses, law enforcement, military, and our amazing veterans, please raise your hands and be recognized. Let's see. You stood in the gap for us. You put your lives on the line to protect the American people every hour of every day. And a new day may be coming that we're going to count on each and every one of you to tune in and listen to your Holy Spirit that's within you. You are the reason we sleep peacefully at night. And for that, we thank you. Let us give these bravest of souls the deepest appreciation they deserve. As these firefighters make their way to the stage, I want to draw your attention to two American flags they carry with them. The larger 25-foot flag brought here by New York firefighters tells a powerful story, a story of courage in the face of tyranny. During the mandates, these firefighters from FDNY, a group called Bravest for Choice, led thousands of Americans across the Brooklyn Bridge in peaceful protest against political overreach. Their actions sparked a movement, one that rose from the ashes of despair and ignited hope for millions. Meanwhile, across the country in Los Angeles, another powerful group called Firefighters for Freedom stood against the same forces, locking arms, fighting for their right to serve without having their freedom stripped away. From the West Coast to the East Coast, from the North to the South, joining forces in our nation's capital, alongside an amazing group of frontline doctors that represent thousands of doctors and nurses around the world who took an oath to do no harm. And simply say enough is enough. Please welcome these amazing doctors: Asim Malhotra, Monica Webby, Ryan Cole, Renato Rennie Moon,